I don't believe on the God concept that comes from religion. I have something bigger than that.
And I'm sorry, I'm having an argument between me and my girlfriend. She's chasing me down the street. So no, it's good. It's fine. I need this break. It's good.
Be honest with me. Are you being scientific and methodical and unbiased if you're doing that? Nothing.
I hate them. This is the legend right here you talk to.
I would say 8 out of 10 people that we've spoken to, they don't subscribe to the traditional concept of God. But every concept of God that they have given is exactly what the Holy Quran talks about. So you believe that what the Bible says is correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And currently what science is saying about evolution is not correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So your belief is that the Bible is the literal word of God. We were created 6,000 years ago. God created us from dust. That's the, okay.
Yes.
For example, an atheist will say, well, the Bible says that the earth started 6,000 years ago. Evolution completely debunks that. How can you reconcile the two things? One's a hard fact, one's a claim in a book.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay.
Those are both as plausible to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, there are certain philosophies, certain faiths where there has never been a contradiction between science and religion.
Yeah.
For example, Islam actually spoke about the idea of the Big Bang and the expanding universe and all of life from water. And, you know, great scientists emerged hundreds of years before the European Renaissance because Islam always endorsed the need for science.
Yeah.
Religion is the words of God.
Yep.
Science is the action of God. Any mythical story around religion, there's always been a scientific explanation for that. Hey guys, how's it going? Yes, sir. What do you think?
Can I join in?
Yeah, come, yeah, please. The more the merrier.
How's it going?
Good, man. I like your sweater.
I appreciate it.
Josh just asked me, like, are we talking about a particular God? You know, like, so basically, the concept of God in the major Abrahamic faiths is similar, but especially here, we're talking about the concept of God in the Holy Quran in Islam.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And according to the Holy Quran, well, the cause of all causes, whatever started it all, is one broad definition of God. So time can't start itself, space can't cause itself, nothing causes itself. So whatever caused everything to come from a state of non-existence into existence, that's God.
That's actually a good point. That's definitely something that I've been thinking about, just like how the world started, right? And just like, right, you say the Big Bang theory, people say, but what before that?
Yeah.
So that just makes me think that something has to be out there, right?
So how do you know that this cause of all things is the God in the Quran and not something else?
That's an excellent question. A very thoughtful question. I appreciate it. Number one, because the Holy Quran claims that the author of this book, the one speaking to us, who open it up and read it, is God. And he says, if you're in doubt about that, if you want to know, then here are some facts that were told from today, 1400 years ago, in 7th century Arabia, to a man who could neither read nor write, at a time when there were no educational institutions whatsoever. And I'll give you one example. We're talking about the Big Bang.
Right.
The Big Bang itself is in unambiguous terms articulated clearly in the Holy Quran.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that the disbelievers, the ones who don't believe in God, will eventually see, it's a future tense, that everything that you see that is the heavens and the earth used to be a tiny, infinitesimal, closed-up mass, ratqan. And we, the author of the Quran, the speaker of the Quran, caused them to be blown asunder. And number two, as though that was not astonishing enough, another proof that it presents is we are the ones who brought this universe from a state of non-existence into existence. This is a direct verse of the Quran. And we are the ones who go on expanding it.
I sincerely believe in something like a Big Bang and Big Crunch where at the end everything comes together again and then it'll explode outward again.
Yeah, what you just said is exactly what the Holy Quran says, that this is cyclical. Because if God exists and he's eternal, his attributes are eternal, he continues to create. It says, on the day when all the heavens will be rolled up like the rolling of scrolls, and just as we created the first time, we shall once again creat. So it's interesting that a lot of people
are
are talking
into something. I think whoever was writing that.
30 years ago, or maybe longer than that. I'm not sure the exact timeline, but they used to believe in something called plasma cosmological theory, and then that got replaced by the Big Bang theory. So maybe 30, 50, 100 years from now, the Big Bang theory will end up being replaced by another theory.
Okay. So you're going to while we're trying to have a discussion based in empirical data, you would rather go and refer to non-empirical hypothetical data that has not actually taken place and for which there is no evidence. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is you're referring to 30 years ago or 60 years ago, but we admit that the amount of cosmological advancement and our understanding of the cosmological sciences in the last 30 years has exponentially increased. So if I have more data and a greater understanding of a scientific subject, and I have a theory, which by the way is a scientific theory, which is different for our viewers from a regular theory. A theory, scientifically speaking, is based off of empirical data and evidence, the microwave background radiation, right, the redshift effect of galaxies and whatnot. So this is the large consensus of cosmologists with the cutting, bleeding edge of technology at their hands. You can't even compare anything that we had of observing. We're talking about tangible data, for example, to the James Webb that we have today, right? So why would you go with a theory either that may exist in the future, which is not empirical, or existed in the past, which has been debunked, and not go off of the volume of information that we have today?
The problem is we don't know for sure that the Big Bang Theory is true because science is always changing. It's always updating itself to make sure it gets it right. So if we know for sure how the universe started, we could compare that to what the Quran says. But the problem is we don't know for sure because science is always changing. It's always evolving.
I agree, and that's the difference between science and religion. People think that the Quran should change, for example, with the times. But if the Quran is actually an objective truth, then it has to remain the same. And as our scientific understanding increases, more and more of the Holy Quran should be proven true. Or our theories should move in the direction of what the Holy Quran says. When we look at all of modern science, the more that we understand of modern science, the more the Holy Quran is proven to be correct. There's a substantial amount of what we call empirical data from which scientists infer the Big Bang Theory. A huge number of theories are based off of far less data, and we operate because that is what we consider scientific fact. So that entire precipice or paradigm of thinking would discredit not only the Big Bang Theory, but enormous amounts of theories, number one. Number two, what would you say about this in the same verse that speaks about the expanding universe? This much is very clear, that the universe is expanding, because every year, every minute, we see through the redshift effect that galaxies are moving infinitely further away, right? And we've calculated down to the decimal point how many kilometers per second per megaparsec these galaxies are moving away from each other. Then all of life was created from water. That was very recently in the clock of human sapiens discovered. And this is just 2 or 3 things. Have you ever heard anything on social media or an argument from an atheist and that got you scratching your head? And you're thinking, oh man, how do I respond to that? Nothing.
Hates them.
I hate them.
He hates
You hate them.
We
Okay.
all have our own way of thinking or believing in some energy,
Okay.
but not that I see God as a specific person or
Right.
the way religion describes it.
Yeah. The Holy Quran, which is the
Uh-huh.
book of Muslims,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't believe in some bearded man in the sky. It says that, whatever began this entire universe, whatever force started all of creation, that is God. Whatever is controlling every particle of this universe, that is God. Whatever gave you a heart filled with kindness and mercy and love and compassion, that is God.
Yeah,
That's the
so-
definition of God according to the
This is
Quran.
what I believe, but I don't want to relate that to Muslim because then they complicate things with their own desires of getting everybody believe what they believe.
The religion of Islam does not permit me to ever force my faith on anyone else. The prophets of God, Jesus, Moses, Noah, Muhammad, all these individuals, peace be upon all of them, they never imposed their religion on anyone.
That's true.
Right? They never imposed their religion on anyone. They practiced their faith. They spoke about their faith whenever they were allowed. People flocked toward them. Why did people flock toward these? Why were they super magnets? Because of how beautiful their morals were.
Well said.
Right?
Well said.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm having an argument between me and my girlfriend. She's chasing me down the street. So no, it's fine. It's fine. I need this break. It's good.
No. I hope things get better
anyway,
between you two.
So no, it's fine. She's
Yeah.
insane right now. 5 more minutes. The main problem is ubiquitously across the globe, dude. It's a value-based problem. I'm more worried about my large screen TV at home than I am about my neighbor's well-being. And I mean that as welfare. I mean, I don't know his name sometimes. I've lived over here for 20 years, and we don't know each other's names. But I make sure that I have large fries for my soda tonight, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
There's a saying that God Almighty said to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, if you fail to fulfill the rights that you owe to me, to God, I'll forgive you. But if you fail to fulfill the rights that you owe to my creatures, to your fellow human beings, I will not forgive you, because they depend on you fulfilling those rights. Islam is about me living my life, not for myself only, but for the 8 billion people that I share this space with. Islam means that I live my life in the most selfless way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you for your time. Anything else? Please feel free. I hope I'm being respectful. I'm not
Yes,
hurting
you
your
are.
sentiments.
You are. Yes, you are being very respectful.
Thank you so much for your time, honestly.
Absolutely. Appreciate
Happy
it.
holidays. Take
Yeah.
care. I really appreciate your time. It was really lovely.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I wanted to just share it with you because I think that it helps build understanding.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
humble.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Cheers.